It's also worth noting that emotions are not weakness. Vulnerability isn't failure. In fact, people who allow themselves to feel, who are honest about their emotions, are often the most emotionally strong. Why? Because they don't fear their inner world. They don't run from what they feel. They face it, understand it, and then decide how to move forward. Suppressing emotions might keep you functional for a while, but it doesn't make you healthy. It disconnects you from yourself. Over time, that disconnection creates a kind of numbness, not just to pain, but to joy, excitement, love, and creativity. You can't selectively shut off emotion. If you suppress one, you dull them all. Emotional control is about creating space between the emotion and the action. It's the moment where you feel the anger rise, but you choose not to snap. You feel the fear, but you choose to move forward anyway. You feel hurt, but you choose to speak with honesty instead of shutting down or lashing out. That choice is the essence of power. It doesn't mean you never cry, never feel insecure, never get overwhelmed. It means those emotions don't own you. You own them. You feel them. Process them, and then lead yourself through them. You don't have to be robotic to be strong. You don't have to suppress to stay in control. You just have to stay honest with yourself and intentional with your actions. The goal isn't to be emotionless. The goal is to be emotionally resilient, to feel deeply and still think clearly, to hurt and still heal, to be challenged and still choose character over chaos. Control is not the absence of emotion. It's the presence of wisdom in the face of it. This principle also applies to your growth. You don't need to master everything overnight. You don't have to be successful by 30 or have it all figured out by next week. If you focus on consistent, smooth progress, improving just 1% at a time, you'll reach a level of strength and stability that speed alone could never buy you. Going slow also allows you to build systems that last. When you're rushing, you're reactive, you're patching leaks and putting out fires. But when you slow down, you can spot root problems, fix them at the source, and prevent them from recurring. That's not wasted time, that's invested time. And it always pays back in speed later. In your relationships, going slow creates understanding. In your career, going slow builds mastery. In your mindset, going slow sharpens clarity. And in your leadership, going slow earns trust, because people don't follow those who are just quick, they follow those who are steady, thoughtful, and reliable. Remember, being fast isn't just about pace. It's about how frictionless your process is. And the smoother your process, the less resistance you face. That's where real momentum lives, not in sprints, but in sustained strategic action. So when you're overwhelmed, when the pressure is high and you feel the urge to rush, slow down, breathe, focus, simplify your next step. Do it with care, not chaos. Because when you move with intention, you move with power. And in the long run, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and fast becomes effortless. We often think of emotions as purely mental or psychological, something that lives in the mind. But the truth is, emotions are deeply physical. They live in the body first, long before we name them. They show up in our posture, our breath, our muscles, our heartbeat. That's why emotional mastery isn't just about thinking differently. It's about training differently. Mastering your emotions starts with mastering your physical state. Think about what happens when you're angry. Your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, your fists curl, your voice sharpens. Before a single word is spoken, your body has already begun the conversation. The same is true for anxiety. Your heart races, your breath shortens, your hands may tremble. All of this happens in your body before your brain even makes sense of it. Your body speaks the emotion before your mind translates it. This is why awareness of your physical state is the foundation of emotional control. You can't shift your mindset if your nervous system is in chaos. You can't make calm decisions if your body is signaling danger. The two are linked. To manage your emotions, you must first manage your body's response to stress. Start by noticing the next time you feel emotionally overwhelmed, whether it's fear, frustration, sadness, or pressure. Check in with your body. Where are you tense? What's your breathing doing? How's your posture? This awareness alone is a powerful tool, because the moment you name what's happening, you begin to separate yourself from it. You are no longer inside the emotion, you're observing it. Then, Go deeper. Use breath as your entry point. Deep, intentional breathing isn't just calming. It's chemical. It signals to your brain that you are safe. It shifts your nervous system out of fight or flight mode and into a state of clarity. 1 minute of slow, focused breathing can change your entire internal state. And when your body calms down, your thoughts begin to clear up. Physical discipline also means practicing habits that strengthen emotional regulation over time. It's not just about the moment of crisis, it's about the preparation that happens long before it. Exercise, sleep, hydration, and even posture play a role in how well you manage emotion. A weak, tired, or stressed body is more reactive. A strong, rested, and regulated body creates a stable foundation for calm thinking. Movement helps too. Emotions need somewhere to go. When you sit in frustration or sadness without an outlet, it compounds, but walking, stretching, or physical activity releases tension and resets your energy. This isn't about running from your feelings, it's about giving them room to process without letting them take over. Emotional mastery also involves restraint, the physical ability to sit with a feeling without having to act on it. This is a powerful discipline. When you're angry and your fists want to slam the table or your mouth wants to snap back, the ability to pause, to sit in that fire without letting it control your actions, that's strength. That's discipline, not suppression, not denial, but control. This doesn't mean being robotic or numb. It means staying centered even when things are spinning. It means building a body and a mind that can hold pressure without collapsing. That strength is cultivated, not given, and it starts with physical awareness. You don't have to be ruled by every emotion that passes through you. You can feel deeply and still lead wisely, but you must start with the body. Train yourself to breathe in tension, to ground yourself in discomfort, to move with purpose when the storm hits. Because emotional mastery isn't a gift you're born with. It's a discipline you train for. And that training starts in the body long before it reaches the mind. When you're driven by emotion, your decisions are unstable. You might quit too early because you feel discouraged. You might say things you regret because you feel angry. You might sabotage relationships or opportunities because you feel insecure. Emotion, if unchecked, can become a reckless navigator. But purpose doesn't operate on feelings, it operates on values. It doesn't ask, what do I feel like doing? It asks, what matters most here? That's the critical difference. Anchoring to purpose means that when chaos erupts, you don't abandon your values to satisfy a fleeting feeling. You stay rooted in the bigger picture. You ask, what would the highest version of me choose in this moment? What action aligns with who I'm becoming? Not just how I feel right now. Let's be honest, feelings are not always accurate storytellers. Just because you feel unqualified doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel disrespected doesn't mean disrespect was intended. Just because you feel overwhelmed doesn't mean you can't handle what's in front of you. That's why you need something stronger than emotion to guide you, something more grounded, more centered. Purpose gives you that internal compass. Think of moments in your life when things felt heavy, when everything was going wrong, when you were under fire. If you were driven by emotion, chances are you made decisions out of fear, defensiveness, pride, or exhaustion. But the moments when you anchored to purpose, when you remembered who you were, why you started, and what you were committed to, those were the moments that strengthened your character and shaped your story. Anchoring to purpose doesn't mean ignoring emotion. It means honoring emotion without obeying it blindly. You allow the feeling to surface. You name it. You acknowledge it. And then you ask, is this feeling serving me? Or do I need to choose something deeper, more aligned? Purpose doesn't just steady you. It lifts you. It pulls you above the noise of your triggers. It reminds you that you're part of something bigger than this moment's discomfort. That you're building something, a life, a legacy, and every reaction either contributes to it or chips away at it. So when your emotions run hot, when you're tired and tempted to quit, when someone pushes your buttons, when things aren't going your way, pause, breathe, and return to your anchor. What are you here for? What kind of person do you want to be? What impact do you want to leave behind? Those questions won't always feel good, but they'll always lead you somewhere solid. When the storm hits, don't drift with your emotions. Drop anchor, root yourself in purpose, and move forward. Not from reaction, but from intention. That's where real clarity begins. Pressure has a unique way of revealing who we truly are. It strips away the mask we wear when things are easy and exposes the patterns we've built when no one was watching. Most people think pressure changes them, but it doesn't. It simply unveils what was already underneath. The habits, beliefs, and default responses that have quietly shaped how we react to life. When everything is calm, it's easy to appear composed, patient, thoughtful, but under stress, the truth comes out. The habits we've rehearsed show up. If you've trained yourself to stay calm and reflect, that will emerge. But if you've built a pattern of blaming, avoiding, panicking, or shutting down, those will surface too, automatically and unapologetically. We don't rise to the occasion under pressure. We fall back on our preparation. This is why it's so important to pay attention to how you respond when things go wrong, when people disappoint you, when you're under deadline, or when your plans collapse. These are the moments that reveal your programming. Do you get defensive when you're challenged? Do you withdraw when you feel criticized? Do you overreact to things that don't go your way? Those aren't random reactions, they're patterns. They're emotional grooves your mind has been carving over time. And if you're not aware of them, you'll keep repeating the same emotional script every time you're under pressure. But here's the powerful truth. Once you become aware of those patterns, you can change them. You are not doomed to repeat what you were taught or how you've always reacted. You can rewire how you respond. But first, you have to stop denying what pressure reveals. This takes courage. The kind of courage that's willing to be honest. It's easier to say they made me mad or that situation stressed me out than it is to admit I don't yet have the tools to handle that kind of pressure calmly. But growth begins the moment you stop blaming the outside world and start examining your internal wiring. Pressure is not a punishment. It's feedback. It's data. It tells you what needs work, what needs healing, what needs replacing. If your instinct is to explode, the pressure shows you your need for emotional regulation. If your default is avoidance, pressure reveals your struggle with confrontation. These aren't character flaws, they're just outdated responses that need upgrading. And just like physical muscles, emotional patterns can be trained. You can learn to hold space for discomfort. You can learn to respond without reacting. You can learn to let go of the need to control everything. But none of that can happen until you acknowledge the patterns pressure reveals. Every leader, athlete, creator, or parent who has learned to thrive under pressure didn't get there by accident. They studied their patterns. They tracked their reactions. They got curious, not judgmental. They asked, why do I respond this way? What am I afraid of? What am I trying to protect? That curiosity opened the door to change. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, triggered, or under attack, pay attention. Don't just try to survive the moment. Study it. What's coming up in you? What story are you telling yourself? What habit is kicking in? Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. It shows you what's still in the way, and if you're brave enough to look, it gives you the opportunity to become better, stronger, and more self-aware. Growth isn't just built in calm, it's revealed in chaos. And those who learn to study themselves under pressure unlock a version of themselves most people never access. Not because they avoided stress, but because they used it to grow. There's a reflex in all of us. When life comes at us fast, we react. A sharp email, a disrespectful comment, a sudden crisis, a failed plan. Before we even realize it, we're speaking, acting, or deciding, and only afterward do we stop to ask, was that the right move? That space between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. It's not in the heat of the reaction, but in the pause before it. That pause is where clarity is found, where self-control lives, and where wise decisions are born. When you learn to pause, even for a few seconds, you interrupt the chain reaction of emotion dictating your behavior. And in that stillness, you regain access to your thinking mind. Most people live in reaction mode. Something happens, they react, they get offended, they clap back, they get scared, they retreat, they feel pressure, they explode. But this kind of living hands the steering wheel of your life over to your emotions. And emotions, while valid, are not always accurate. They can cloud judgment, distort perception, and escalate problems that could have been resolved with calm and clarity. The pause doesn't come naturally. It's a skill that must be practiced. But it begins with awareness, becoming conscious of your internal temperature before it overflows. That's why it's important to check in with yourself in the moments you feel triggered. Is your jaw tightening? Is your chest tense? Is your voice rising? These are signals, not signs of weakness, but indicators that you're about to act from emotion rather than intention. The truth is, no one makes their best decisions when they're flooded with emotion. Anger is not a strategy. Anxiety is not a plan. Panic is not leadership. What allows you to lead yourself and others through difficult situations is the ability to stay calm under fire. And that calm is not found in control of the situation. It's found in control of your reaction to the situation. The pause isn't passive. It's not indecision. It's a conscious moment to breathe, assess, and realign. It's a small act with massive consequences. In that breath, you remind yourself, I am not my emotion. I am not this moment's chaos. I have a choice. Great leaders, resilient individuals, clear thinkers, they all have one thing in common. They don't let urgency rob them of composure. They create space between what happens and what they choose to do about it. That space allows them to respond, not react. This applies in every arena: relationships, careers, crises, conflict. How many arguments could have been avoided with a pause? How many bad decisions, hurtful words, or costly mistakes could have been prevented by one deep breath? We often think strength looks like power moves and instant decisions. But real strength is restraint. It's not needing to have the last word. It's being able to sit with discomfort without unleashing it on others. It's choosing peace over proving a point. That strength is forged in the pause. Learning to pause is learning to lead, first yourself, then others. Because no one wants to follow someone who can't regulate their emotions. And no one can trust a mind that only functions under ease, not under pressure. So practice the pause. Not just when things fall apart, but in daily life. When you're frustrated, pause. When you're excited, pause. When you're tempted to speak out of anger or make a quick decision, pause. Build that muscle. Because in a world that moves fast and demands instant reaction, the pause is not just power. It's a superpower. It's the calm and the chaos, the eye of the storm, the place where wisdom waits patiently to be chosen. And those who master the pause, master themselves. There's a moment we all face. The tension in the room thickens. Your heartbeat accelerates. Your palms sweat, and suddenly you're not thinking, you're reacting. Pressure hits like a wave. And if we're not careful, it drags us under. But pressure isn't the enemy. It's not the storm that breaks you. It's how prepared you are when it arrives. Controlling your emotions and thinking clearly under pressure doesn't begin in the moment. It begins before it. Think of it like this. You don't learn to swim when you're drowning. You train for it, quietly, repeatedly, intentionally.